everyone, I know I've unboxed it a while ago, but we need to talk about this Razor blaster here. I'm your host Dave, welcome to Tag. The PDW Razor. Yeah, don't mind the new barrel or the extra sight on it, those are just seagull sight that I put on it to be more nice. But this blaster, this is a Caliburn based, injection molded, pump action primary blaster. This is a magazine fed blaster, and no, this exact blaster is not Talon compatible, but the original design was supposed to be. Honestly, the first thing I did on this blaster, and I did it on camera while I was unboxing, but I ran out of memory, was taking a knife and changing this magwell so it's now Talon compatible. That increased the value of this blaster. Nonetheless, this mag is almost Talon compatible for a lot of blasters, so you can still run it in other blaster. Not all of them, but a few. You see, this is a blaster designed by Venshu. Why should you care? You should care because Venshu is a very important name, and you probably have one or more blaster from this designer in your arsenal without even knowing it. But coming back to this blaster, this Razor is basically a 1-1 copy of Venshu's design, at the exception of the magazine, because the original version was for a Talon magazine. The thing is, this blaster was produced in a hurry by PDW. Therefore, they went into some corner cutting measure into this blaster. So even if we have very high quality material, I mean, this nylon is, it's feeling invincible, and this aluminum CNC shroud slash receiver on top of it is really a nice touch. Therefore, right out of the box, we got a few flaws. The blaster doesn't seal. Like I said, in this particular case, the fact that it doesn't take Talon is an issue. The barrel is way too short, way too loose on the blaster, and the prime, even with all this weight and all this big rigidity, have a weird, nasty wiggle on it. You see, this blaster have all the element to be another great Venshu blaster, and it is not. When I said earlier that it was like produced in a haste, it's because Venshu was originally working with ZWQ to have a version of this blaster adapted to be the S300. This was going to be a magnificent blaster, at least judging from the picture we had back then from this blaster and from the prototype. In fact, I was supposed to receive one of those prototypes, but I never received this prototype because, you see, PDW was supposed to be the third-party manufacturer to make this thing for, or to make the S300 for ZWQ. And instead, they went under their nose, they took the original Venshu design, they changed the magazine, they forget to put a few parts, they adapted the shell because the way it's made, they didn't fully understood how to assemble it, because just the screw, there's only one side where the screw are useful, the other side they are only cosmetic, where normally ZWQ blaster you would have a hole that goes through and a little screw pin that goes from both sides and that hold your shell together, like what we have on the War Saint and the base. So because PDW produced this subpar 140 FPS blaster, we will never have the S300 because ZWQ abandoned the project. That is really a sad news, and I would really wish for ZWQ to reconsider the S300 because this was a way more magnificent blaster and seems way better built than this thing. But having this blaster, this Razor blaster, I was not gonna let it go to waste, because honestly there is a lot of blaster. I am a big fan of Vanshu's work, a big fan of ZWQ, but like I said, this thing had flaw and I had to correct them. Therefore, I corrected the flaw on this blaster to really put it on level with the rest of Vanshu's work. I started with a new O-ring on the plunger plus relube. The quality of this polycarbonate is really good on this thing. Therefore, half my seal problem were solved. Then I went for the second problem, the barrel. I mean the dart was literally falling through it when I was pointing the blaster down. This was really an issue with the blaster. I took a swing barrel, I removed the chamfered section. To swap the barrel, it's easy. There is only two screws, one here, one here. You remove them, you lift the back of the receiver and you slide it forward. Then there is two set screws on each side. You just undo them and you can remove your barrel. At the same time, I would suggest you remove the priming member. It will ease the reinstallation with the return spring, which is very long on this thing. And what do you know? First thing I know, with the new barrel in, the blaster is shooting 170 FPS, 173 FPS in the high shot, meaning I am closing on the regular 180 to 200 FPS ZWQ blaster gets. On the stock spring, without changing anything but a longer barrel, slightly longer. I'm pretty sure I can put another 10 centimeter in front of it, and a small O-ring. Then for that wiggle in the prime, I took two 6mm bearing, which are exactly the size for those high quality stainless steel rod, and are almost the perfect size to fit in the port of the priming member. Meaning I just need to take the bearing, do 4 or 5 equal wrap of Teflon tape around them and insert them in. Why Teflon tape? Because it will compress, it will kind of lock them in, and if something happened with your bearing, let's say a bad prime, a bad hit on it, and you need to change it, you will be able to remove it where glue will solidify it in place and you will be stuck with a broken bearing if something happened. Now that this razor is finally behaving like a good blaster, do I recommend it to you? No, I can't really recommend it to you. I mean, this is a 260 Canadian dollar blaster, 180 US dollar blaster. I mean, for the same kind of money or less, you can get yourself a real legit Vanshu blaster. Because, as I mentioned earlier, he is single-handedly responsible for pretty much every blaster in worker arsenal since after the Swift, and pretty much all the ZWQ blaster except the War Saint. So you can't really go wrong with either of those. If you want really a sniper, powerful blaster that is in the same kind of class as this, get yourself a Seagull, a Harrier, or get yourself a Base Blaster, the Base Blaster being pretty much the best thing I have in my arsenal. As for Big Blaster, this thing will fetch anything. The FPS raise, the seal raise, this thing is really nice instead of this. And these days, this blaster is more around $80. This one is more $180. For a legitimate blaster, this one is a fully legit Vanshu one. The choice is easy to make. Let's not forget that with a Seagull, a Harrier, a Base, a Viper or Fire Rat, you will have support, you will have upgrade part, and you will have solution if something happens. As for this PDW, I can bet you will never see an upgrade part for it from the manufacturer, nor that you will see any support for anything on this blaster. In the end, I can't recommend this blaster because of PDW's practice while making it, but I am still gonna make it something worthy of Vanshu's name, because Vanshu deserves all the credit for such an incredible design, but not for this blaster, which is just a shadow of his work. Well, I think that's it for this small video. In the meantime, you can always follow me on Facebook and Instagram at @thatoldnerfguy. Please leave a like and comment, subscribe for more content. Don't forget to hit that bell to notify for my latest video. This was Dave Fatag. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.